The views and opinions expressed on the show by the host, speakers, and doctor experts do not reflect the views of Johnson & Johnson Philippines Inc., or its respective management. Viewer discretion is advised.
We are joined today by a fellow strong and empowered woman, Miss Laika Gonzalez, and she will help us address questions about confidence, how we can build it, and how we can work on becoming more confident every day, whether it be in our personal lives, careers, and passion. And by the way, guys, this is a J&J initiated Facebook and Shopee Live, and Laika Gonzalez and I, Jen Barangan, and J&J invited resource speakers to discuss topics related to this. Now, joining us for tonight's episode is Miss Laika Gonzalez. I'm super duper excited to introduce her to you tonight, guys. So, Miss Laika Gonzalez is a documentary filmmaker and multimedia specialist. She is a member of the United Nations Youth Advisory Board in the Philippines, representing the youth in creative arts and informal sector. Laika believes in using stories as a source for good. Her work has been screened at the Cannes Film Festival, TED Talk, and various festivals. And there are also forums worldwide and sparking conversations on migration, gender equality, and women empowerment. And as a storyteller, Laika uses her voice to raise awareness on meaningful advocacies, and she translates his lifelong mission through her engagements with development organizations such as international labor organizations and the UNHCR, or the UN Refugee Agency, and of course, Spark Philippines. Without doubt, an empowered woman. So, girls, let's welcome Miss Laika Gonzalez. Hi, Miss
Hi,
Laika.
Jen. Hello. Thank you for
Good
having
evening.
me. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. How are you?
Okay naman. How are you, Jen?
You know what, guys? I so love the setup of Miss Laika. Like, magpapaturo ako sa iyo, Miss Laika, with the setup.
Oo
Sobrang
naman.
HD kasi
Anytime.
nun ko. And yeah, so as mentioned earlier, the pandemic has really been difficult for all of us. I know you can relate to this, Miss Laika.
Of
And
course.
one point, we probably lost the confidence, be it in ourselves or our abilities, or even lost confidence that things will, go back to normal. So for the second part of our episode tonight, let's zoom in on how we can build or regain our self-confidence in pandemic. So I personally have few questions for you tonight, Miss Laika, but we've also gathered frequently asked questions about this topic, so which we'll be going through uh, to all of those questions one by one. Are you ready?
Yes, ready.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's begin with our first question. So for our first question, I've already asked our audience tonight about this one, but I also would like to know what is your thought about this. So the question is, what does confidence mean to you?
Okay. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah,
Napakalalim na question na yan. Confidence.
question.
Oh, diba? Confidence is something for me that we find within. It is harnessed from within. And for me, it means being at peace with oneself. And with that peace comes courage. And this courage allows us to stand up for our rights, for the rights of others, especially those who are marginalized. And confidence for me is about courage, essentially. Courage to do what is right and what is just.
Oh my god, I love that. It feels like this is a beauty pageant
Yeah.
a segment, but I love that. And oh, courage, no. I mean, for me, yeah, it's like uplifting others as well in terms
Yeah.
of yeah. So now for our second question, so Miss Laika, you are a woman with a great career and passion in film and photography. So how did you build the confidence to get where you are today?
Jen, I always believe in being a lifelong learner. And to build one's confidence, we must be willing to learn. It is a process and it's
Exactly.
a humbling process. It allows us to recognize our weaknesses as much as our strengths. And from there, we learn what we can still improve on, and we learn also to seek help from others. And I'm not going to be here today without those who encouraged me to dare take on new challenges or go beyond my comfort zone. I'm not here today without the people who made space for voices like mine to be heard. And with this, that's also what I want to do. I want to do the same with the platforms that I get to be on. Huwag ka muna umiyak
Nawawa na
dyan.
ako. Wait lang, nawawa na ako, miss. Every time you answer, you're like, oh my God. I don't know. Napapatatameme ako. Kayo din ba, guys? Napapatatameme kayo every time it's like a answer. So, in
Okay,
relation
kaya?
to that,
Okay.
miss, kaya to, miss. So, in relation to that, how does, I mean, finding and fulfilling your passion help in making you feel confident as a woman? Especially in filming. I mean, ilang percentage ba sa filming industry na nandun yung mga, maybe the women are there? Kasi I don't know lang if now it still exists na majority of the time you're surrounded by men, diba? So, yun.
Yeah, tama yung sinabi mo. Film industry, journalism, photography, these industries are still mainly dominated, of course, by male.
Right.
But I'm also fortunate to be at a time when voices of women and the diverse community are now heard, 'di ba? So being able to pursue one's chosen career is really a privilege. Not everyone has the capacity or the access to do what they want or fulfill one's passion, so to speak. And not everyone is given the same set of circumstances that you and I have today, Jen. And so starting from this place of awareness anchors me in this career and path. I am reminded constantly that what I do is not just for myself, but for others as well. And for others to be heard, for others to be able to rise.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that I mean a lot of us don't have that privilege to chase one's passion or chase one's dream because of the circumstances that they have. I can totally relate to that because when I started early on me when I was still working, sometimes you chose practicality over passion
Yeah.
because right, you
And
have
there's
a
nothing
family
wrong
to
with that.
support. Yes, there's nothing wrong of course there's nothing wrong to that, but I mean that's why you feel lucky, and at the same time you'll get to fulfill or like reach what you want.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
regardless of how
I get
hard your circumstances is.
Yeah, I get what you mean, Jen. So parang ako, inisip ko na lang na because I am here, I'm in this position and role, then I must do something good about it. Because this is really a gem, so to speak. Hindi lahat ng tao pwedeng gawin to. So, yun, that's my North Star, so to speak.
Oh, so you became their inspiration. Now, Miss Laika, you've used the camera as a tool to bridge yourself with others, specifically with your advocacy and women empowerment. How has your work allowed you to inspire and empower women out there?
Empowerment is not something that we give or transfer to other people, but it is something we work towards. Development, after all, is about change, and what we strive to change are the systems, the infrastructures, cultures, and beliefs that contribute to women's intersectional subordination. As a storyteller, my role is to shed light on the truth and how our practices and beliefs inadvertently affect those who are on the sidelines. So, my duty as a filmmaker and as a visual storyteller is to put things into perspective. I'm sure you know this, Jen. And to remind us
Yeah.
all of our interconnectedness and why a seemingly removed issue that affects one community also affects you and me also.
Just a follow-up question, Miss. Do you also have this, I mean, any struggles in terms of conceptualizing something like during the process of creating a story for your audience, what are the common challenges that you face for the
Of course that I think is normal. Starting out and writing the story that you want to tell. Kasi ang dami nating pwede ikwento, ang daming pwedeng gawin, but we can only do so much with a certain set of time frame, di ba? Sa film, we're only given how many minutes or how many hours to tell an impactful story. So, kailangan mo talaga piliin. And dun mo i-edit out din kung ano yung unnecessary. I think that's essential in writing, in editing. So yun, that's one thing that I've learned doing along the way is to really identify and prioritize the voices that matter and also the stories that matter.
Thank you, Miss. Now, for our next question, ewan ko, nasa starstruck ako, Miss. Like, for our next question, how do you forge meaningful relationships in your work? And how do you make others feel more confident about themselves and in telling their stories? Because there are times people are sometimes it can help na parang nahihiya sila to tell their story. So how do you encourage them?
Okay, good question. Kasi kailangan yan all the time. So, I go back to this notion na every one of us has a unique story to tell. Our set of experiences can bring so much value to other people. In fact, we don't even know whose life we get to touch just by telling our story. And, forging meaningful connections always begins with trust. We establish trust with these people. We have to be sincere with our intentions and convey this well. Para alam ng mga taong isinasama natin sa mga kwento natin, how we're gonna use their story and kung saan makarating yung kwento nila. Kasi dyan, after all, we are only vessels to other people's stories. At the end of the day, it is their story to tell. So, we have to respect their position and reservations, if any. And we have to honor that trust that they have given to us.
So trust is definitely the foundation in order for you to I love now now Miss, in film, how do you choose the right topics or advocacies to communicate and talk about? Do you listen to your audience or do you have any inspiration or do you also watch the other people's work in terms of
Of course, part yan ng process. Syempre, I also get inspired by other people, other people's work. But at the same time, there are no right or wrong topics or stories, diba? What matters is how we tie the stories together to achieve our desired impact. Every story bears so much wisdom and information. So we have to ask, is this the right story to tell? When we want to say or shed a light on women empowerment, HIV/AIDS, COVID response. Additionally, is it timely or relevant? Are these the right set of people or communities to speak about this topic? So maraming tanong, and we always start with a purpose. And that purpose will vary depending on who we are working with and what issue we want to highlight at that point in time. So iba-iba yan.
Relevance is definitely important in terms of telling a story. True. And also, Miss, speaking of topics coming from your lens and as a communications professional, why does talking about vagina and intimate area health remain taboo, especially in the digital space?
Good question. As Filipinos, diba, growing up, we are taught to be conservative, to be modest, especially when our values and institutions have been shaped by our colonial history and religion for centuries. So, this is very hard to unlearn. And meanwhile, the digital space is still fairly new. It is a public platform where everyone has a voice. And I'm very happy to see that the younger generation of Filipinos now are more vocal about their health, their body autonomy, and other issues that were once taboo. And we are learning now to own our voice and use our platforms to share knowledge and skills. And now that the digital space has democratized communication, we are also beginning to reshape this culture and the notions for the better.
True. I would agree that our what do you call this? Our culture plays huge impact in terms of opening topics like our vaginal health and so mahirap siyang mawala sa system natin because we've been
Yeah.
practicing it for the longest time
Yeah.
and our elders have been taught us the same way. So true. And lastly, Miss, in your TED Talk back 2017, you mentioned that perspectives open conversation and that stories can change the world. So, how do you think we can amplify the importance of talking about vaginal health or possibly transform the perspective of people towards this topic?
There are different ways to approach it. One is to use our own platforms to educate or speak about this topic. Jen can use it. You can use it as, you can use your vlog as a platform, diba? But also another is to collaborate with other people so that our message will be stronger and it will be more amplified. Because when we work together, may ripple effect yan. So it begins in collaboration and partnership.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Laika, for answering the questions on self-confidence. And I hope our viewers enjoy that segment as much as I did. And I hope you learned a lot because tonight, ang dami ko natutunan, guys. Thank you so much, Miss Laika, for sharing your thoughts tonight. And we will see you later on our next segment.
Yes.
And
Thank you,
I'll
Jen.
see you later.
And see you.
Thank you so much, Miss Laika. Now, yes, that was a very insightful discussion, guys. As what I mentioned earlier, I learned a lot. If you learned a lot, then please do let me know in the comment section below. And personally, my takeaway from Miss Laika, I have a lot. I mean, I learned a lot of things, but if there's one thing that I will never forget is we should establish trust to our audience so that we'll get to, you know, everyone has voices and everyone can empower people. Everyone has the capacity to tell their own story. And the first step for you to do that is to really establish the trust, not just for your audience, but also simply with your friends or with the people you met on a daily basis. So yan. All right. Now let's welcome back Miss Laika. Hi again, Miss Laika.
Hi, Jen. Thank you for having me
Hi,
again.
Miss. Have you had your water break?
Oo naman.
You're
Kailangan. Self-care
backstage.
yan.
Yeah, hydration, no?
Yes.
Staying hydrated is part of self-care as well. See, guys, even the little things are part of your self-care routine. And we'll be talking more about that on this segment. So, now more than ever, kailangan talaga natin pangalagaan ang sarili natin. And knowing that you are an empowered and esteemed woman in today's generation, we want to learn from you in terms of how you build routines to be more confident in your day-to-day life. So, Ms. Taika, for our first question, medyo light and easy lang to na question na to start our segment. And so for the question is, this feels like a pang Miss Universe question. This is something light and easy, but
Okay.
sometimes the light and easy questions are the tricky ones.
Yes, totoo yan.
Now, for the question is, what makes you feel alive, happy, and fulfilled?
O, di ba? Easy question daw, pero ang hirap sagutin.
Anyway, true.
Sa akin,
Oo.
simple lang. Sunlight, silence, and stillness. Sa akin, na-realize ko ang kaligayahan kapag may katahimikan, di ba? Kapag tahimik yung loob ko at yung isipan ko, if I have the headspace to take in a moment in its entirety. Dito ko na-appreciate lahat ng bagay, where I am, what surrounds me, and who I'm surrounded by. Being in nature also grounds me and helps me feel more at peace, pero that's a luxury these days, especially during a pandemic, di ba? But also for someone who lives in the city like me, So stillness, that's something that we can find anywhere, wherever we are.
So we have three S. I forget the second one. So we have sunlight,
Silence.
stillness, and silence. Ayun. Okay. I love that. So we have three S, guys, in order according to Miss Laika, why she is happy, alive, and fulfilled. So we have the sunlight, of course, and silence and stillness. So you see, just the little things, but it has a great impact or huge impact in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, but before we move on, Jen,
Yeah.
sa'yo, what
Mm.
makes you feel alive and happy and fulfilled?
This sounds cliche, pero as long as I can see my family happy, then that makes me feel happy and fulfilled as well. It's so cliche, but I'm really a family oriented person. But yeah, and especially that I am I'm the breadwinner. As long as nakikita ko na masaya sila sa lahat ng binibigay ko, that makes me happy, fulfilled, and alive as well. Because for me, that's
Wow.
the reason why I'm here. That's the reason why I am working because of them. So,
Wow. Thank you for
wait lang,
sharing,
mapapaiyak na ba
Jen.
tayo? Mapapaiyak na ba tayo dito? Okay. Next is, before tayo umiyak, let's move on to our next question. Has there ever been an instance where you felt stuck or stagnant? I love this. I love this one because I think this is very timely as well. And how are you able to get through these challenges? And I know a lot of young ones, I mean, the girls out there who are on their early 20s are experiencing this one, and they felt stuck or stagnant. So we would like to hear from you, Miss Laika, of how were you able to manage it?
Okay, so syempre normal 'yan. Ang path naman natin, 'di ba, may ebb and flow, so to speak. So kailangan din natin 'to pagdaanan paminsan-minsan. And taking a pause really helps reevaluate where we are and what our next steps can be. So whenever I feel stuck or stagnant, especially during a pandemic, I take it as an opportunity to start something new or learn something, to go back to the activities that I like, such as yoga, reading, or studying. Mga ganon.
So the best time to learn new things as well.
Yeah, being
Parang
stuck is an opportunity for growth eh, di ba? Parang dun
agree.
ka talaga because na-break yung notions mo before or na-break yung rhythm mo before. Parang, okay, what can I do differently now? How can I adapt?
I love the word adapt, especially right now. In terms of when pandemic or lockdown happened, we adapt to a lot of things, especially in terms of our work. We started to adapt in doing Zoom calls, right?
Yeah.
In our workplace, like work from home. And it's really amazing how people can, though it's hard, but we did that. We were able to manage it. So,
Yes. And
yeah.
you also managed it. I mean, I also watched your story, Jen. So,
Ay,
di ba?
yes, thank you.
Nag-adapt ka din.
Thank you, Miss.
Ayan.
Kinikilig ako doon ako part. Now, Miss Laika, in terms of your career, considering that we're still in a lockdown, are there any restrictions when it comes to your work or visiting different communities? And how do you manage to stay confident at home? Because you are in a film industry wherein most of your shoots are outside talaga dapat yung locations. So how were you able to manage that?
So, yes, ang daming changes, especially sa production and film industry. We can't go to certain places as easily as before, and there are now regulations. And, we people in the industry, we have to observe these regulations because it's not just for us, but for the communities as well, di ba? And like I said earlier, how do I manage these and how do I stay confident at home? I try new things and do activities that I enjoy, but I also take it as an opportunity to reconnect. Reconnect not just with myself, but also with my family, my friends, my loved ones. Spending quality time with my husband or reconnecting
Um,
with, my friends who are not within my midst, di ba? So, kahit virtually, learning new recipes, mga ganon.
I'm speaking of learning new recipes, Miss, and I, when lockdown happened, what are those famous quarantine activities that you participated in? Let's just say, and dami naging turn to be a plantita. They tried a lot of dishes,
Ayan na.
mga quarantine dishes. Ayun na, man. So, what are those quarantine activities? If you want to somewhat like do that, na you participated in.
Okay, I'm always a fan of coffee. So I started making coffee for myself and for my family. So that's one. As you can see also, mas nag-grow yung aking pagka-plantita. I started baking also. It's something that
Ah,
I
nice.
used to do growing up. Pero dahil nga I started working and everything, wala, nalimutan ko na siya. So I started baking and cooking for my family.
Ah, nice. Speaking of
Yeah.
coffee, Miss, have you tried the Dalgona coffee
Alam
during
mo,
the
hindi ko yun
pandemic?
na-try.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I've heard of it. So many people, so many friends have tried it. Have you tried it and how is it?
I haven't tried it because I'm not really a coffee lover, but
Okay.
I enjoy people watching na they're doing the Dalgona coffee.
Yeah.
Mm. Try natin yan, Miss. Pareho tayo hindi pala
After.
nakapag
Or bukas.
update.
Gabi na.
Update kita, Miss. Para sa gusto ko yun. And the baking. So, amazing talaga yung lockdown because there are some things na parang we love to do before but because we're too busy to do it, parang napag-iwanan na siya. And because of the lockdown or because of the pandemic, bumalik lahat ng yon. It's just so,
Yes.
ano lang, it's so amazing.
So, blessing din siya
Now,
kahit papaano, kahit
blessing.
mahirap, di ba?
True, true. Now, zooming into the in earlier question, is how do you take care of yourself, especially during the pandemic? Kasi most of the time, I mean, during the pandemic or lockdown, nasa bahay lang tayo. And sometimes we forgot to take care of ourselves kasi, nasa bahay lang naman ako. But how are you able to manage and taking care of yourself amid that?
Yeah, it's so easy to let ourselves go, especially during this time. Pero this is also the time when we have to keep our bodies and our minds stronger, diba? And yoga really helped me, especially during the start of the pandemic. It anchored me, and it's a practice that we can do in the comforts of our home. And the pandemic helped me reevaluate also like you, what I consume, and how to take care of my mind and my body. So yun, hindi pa ako nag-gym or hindi pa ako bumalik sa gym, but some activities that we can do at home is, mga home workouts, yoga,
Or workout?
meditation.
For me, yoga is really hard to parang, kasi it's a combination of balancing at the same time yung breathing mo, diba, Miss? Ang
Yeah.
alam ko, ang hirap, parang mahirap siya. I haven't really tried, pero most of my, a lot of my friends would say na mahirap siya, um, yung parang isasabay mo yung breathing nga. Yun yung
Yeah.
pinaka-importante.
Mahirap siya, but
Mm.
then it's also so good for us. It's for everyone, and any person, anyone can try it. And yun, kasi ako yung tipong hindi ko kaya ng sobrang aggressive na workout or exercise, mga activity.
Okay.
Napapagod ako or yung heart ko hindi ko kaya. So, yoga is parang sakto lang siya and it challenges me but at the same time it calms me down and
Ah.
yung calming and meditative aspect of yoga is really good for my well-being and for other people as well.
Mm. Now, speaking of yoga as part of your self-care routine, so how do you think that self-care leads to confidence in your workplace?
Well, when we take care of ourselves, we are able to contribute meaningfully to others and to our communities. We become more present and self aware. We are able to think more critically also and be responsive to challenges that arise. So, when we take care of ourselves, you're able to serve our purpose and our roles better.
Gusto ko yun. When we take care of ourselves, we'll get to serve our purpose.
Yeah.
Catriona, agree mo
Gano'n?
talaga.
Kulang lang ako sa height.
Now, next, Miss, is how does self-care lead to confidence and interacting? I think you were able, I mean, somewhat like related to your answer actually earlier.
Yeah.
And, no, when you interact with others, if you're not conscious about something because you do your self-care routine, then definitely you'll get to interact with others
Yeah, so ganun.
more confidently,
Yeah, ganun din. Kasi kung buo tayo, kung kampante tayo at kilala natin yung sarili natin, buo din tayo kasama ng ibang tao. So, when we are confident with ourselves and with who we are able to shed the light on others and share the spotlight, di ba? We don't need to prove ourselves to anyone anymore dahil wala eh, kumpleto na tayo eh. So, we share the stage and make space for others to rise.
Thank you so much, Miss. Now, lastly, so this is going to be the last question for this segment. What would you advise to our viewers today who feel like they don't have the time or energy to take care of themselves?
We must make this a priority because if we cannot take care of ourselves, we won't be able to pursue our other roles and duties in life. So we have to learn to say no also and set our boundaries kasi kailangan din natin magpahinga para buo tayo kasama ng iba.
Totoo yan. Yung pagiging
Diba?
I mean, so that you'll get to give back to other or like, para, ano bang tawag dito? Parang sabi nga nila, so para mamahalin mo yung ibang tao, mahalin mo muna yung sarili.
Yes.
Naghugot na lang. Thank you so much for that. Yes, that was the last question, Ms. Laika. Thank you so much again for sharing your thoughts. And tonight, before we continue with our live Q&A, do you have any words for, I mean, additional words for our viewers? Or maybe you have something for Spark Women's, right?
Yes. So I invite everyone to join the upcoming Women 2021 Women in Action. It's a conversation on women's political participation and governance. You can catch it live next week on Monday, March 22 at 2 p.m. on the Spark Philippines Facebook page. And I hope to see you there.
I will. Papanoorin ko yan.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Ms. Laika. And
you.
I'll see you later on. So, yes, there you have it, ladies. Make sure to catch the third round of discussion on women and governance of Spark Philippines next Monday. That's March 22 at 2 p.m. Mark your calendars now on their Facebook page. Again, that's on March 22 at 2 p.m. Ayan, may natutunan ba kayo about self-care? Kasi ako, madami ako natutunan, guys. And grabe, I realized that it's super duper important talaga to take care of ourselves, be it mentally, emotionally, and physically, lalo na ngayon. Let us just welcome back Miss Laika. Hi.
Hello
Miss
again,
Laika.
Jen.
Are you ready for our live Q&A? So these questions are from our audience who are watching tonight. And I'm very excited kung ano itatanong nila, and I'm so excited as well to hear your thoughts and your insights about this. So our first question is ready. But before that, are you ready, Miss Laika?
Ready.
Born ready. So for the first question, so ito is, how do I become more confident in taking and interacting with other people, especially now that everything is happening online only?
You should also answer this question, Jen, because I feel like I have so much to learn from you. But my take will be to own your voice because everything is democratized now online, diba? And we all have a space to be heard and it's free and anybody can film themselves now, can write. And yeah. Ikaw, Jen, what do you think?
For me, especially with the younger ones, people, I mean, they feel like every time they watch the social media or they're online, I think lalabas yung insecurities nila. It's because of the people that they post. I mean, of the what other people post online. And you know what, guys? If you feel like insecure while watching those posts from other people, you have to remember, especially on Instagram, you have to remember this, that they're posting the highlights of their lives. So you shouldn't compare your life na raw to someone else's curated post. Kasi it's very unfair if you're gonna compare your raw self to someone else's created post. And that is when you feel insecure and you feel na hindi ka na confident at all. So, yun lang, stop comparing yourself to others. Yun lang talaga. Yun yung pinaka-importante.
Sobrang sakto yung
Yeah.
sinabi mo. And in line with that, we also have to be critical with what we consume online because
True,
not
true.
everything is factual. So, alam mo yun, we have to be more careful
Yeah.
about what we believe and also what we share to others online.
Nakaka-relate ako dun, Mel.
Ay, ganun, may
We
hugot.
really have to be very careful. We really have to be very careful in what we share online, especially during this time wherein everyone is like, yun, basta we should be very careful. I
Yeah.
can relate to that. Next, for our second question, how can I surround myself with people who encourage me to step out of my comfort zone?
It has to begin with us. What do I mean by this? We have to take the initiative to reach out to people and ask for help. Actually, nahirapan din ako dun at start. Parang feeling ko kaya ko lahat. But no, we actually grow and evolve when we, you know, ask others to help us and to be when we are guided by others. So yun yung mindset ko when I want to step out of my comfort zone. I also look for mentors who can guide me and help me navigate this path. And, I always come back to my family and my closest friends who are forever there. They're the cheerleaders to my life. So yun, how about you, Jen?
um, as what you mentioned earlier, Miss Laika, learn to say no. So if there are people that you think dragging you down, so
Yeah.
learn to stay away from them. Learn to say no. No, I'm not gonna be with this type of person because this person is not helping for my growth. So yun. I know it's hard, but I don't know if you are struggling also, Miss Laika, saying no to people.
Yeah, totoo yan. Kasi you have to
Ah,
be careful
yeah.
also with the energy that you get from other people.
Good
And
for people too.
yun, tama. I agree with you on that.
So yun lang. You have to concentrate to those people you trust the most.
Yeah,
Sabi
you
nga ni
need
Miss
to be
Laika kanina,
selective, no?
mm, true.
Yeah.
Yun yung pinaka-important. Next, I think this is gonna be the last question from our audience. So the last question would be, what are the qualities and attributes of a confident woman?
Wow. Madami.
Pa ito pang ano na to na question.
Oo nga.
Pang Miss Universe
Miss
talaga
Universe
to.
talaga. Okay. Sa akin, a confident woman is courageous. Kailangan willing siya to stand up for what is right and what is just, as I said earlier. That woman must be persistent and determined to stay on the line and to defend the truth, diba? Someone who is confident must also be willing to learn because hindi naman tayo yung pinakamagaling sa mundo and there's so much to learn from other people. So it takes some humility also, if not a lot, diba? And lastly, resilience. A confident woman must be willing to rise up again in the midst of adversity and to use her skills and position or role in life to contribute something meaningful.
Pwede ko ba i-copy-paste yung answer? Yeah, I would agree. Someone who's
Sige, go.
confident will copy-paste yung answer. But you take a lot of bullet points in terms of describing a confident woman. Resilience, someone courageous, and that for me on my blogs, I always emphasize the power of courage. And I think yun yung isa sa pinaka-importante talaga when if I'm going to describe a confident woman. And yeah, the resiliency, of course, pinaka-importante. And I just would like to add as well, for me,
Yeah.
on top of those, for me, a confident woman is there's a self-discipline.
Mm.
Yung you are a confident woman that regardless, minsan kasi a lot of us, when we chase something, especially with our dreams or with what we are passionate about, we always wait for motivations to
Right.
come in. before we do something,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's the common mistake na ginagawa natin because we shouldn't wait for the motivation to come in if you really want something bad to happen in your life. So you must have that self-discipline wherein regardless if the motivation is there, you will still continue doing what you want. So, yun lang gusto ko i-add.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head right there. Tama ka. Parang we don't need to wait for any external validation. Kailangan gawin na natin. 'Di ba? It comes from us. It starts with us.
With us and from us. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Like. And I think those are the three questions that our audience or yes, to our viewers sent in. And again, Miss Laika, thank you so much. You were able to impart so much knowledge to all of us tonight with your enlightened answers. And thank you so much as well. And before we move on to the announcement of our giveaway winners, siguro let's remind na lang again our viewers about Spark Philippines event on Monday, March 22nd. So go ahead, Miss Laika.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for having me in Spark Philippines today. So, again, I invite everyone to join the third episode of Women 2021 Women in Action with Spark Philippines. This will be a conversation on women's political participation and governance. Catch the live stream on Monday, March 22 at 2 p.m. only on the Spark Facebook page.
Thank you so much, Miss Laika. So before we say goodbye to everyone, syempre, I will, yun. Sorry. So yun, thank you so much, Miss Laika, again. And for the Dalgona coffee,
Yeah.
gusto ko
Gagawin
talaga
pa natin yan.
gagawin pa natin yun, Miss. Thank you again for taking the time to be
Thank
to
you.
answer all of our questions and for empowering other women. Thank you so much and enjoy the
Thank
rest of your night.
you. You too, Jen.